Hi everybody, welcome into Wareham Gatemen Around the Horn. I'm Austin Pollack. Check out some of these highlight plays from the last week in Gatemen Nation. Starting with a 5-1 loss to the Brewster Whitecaps, Danny Rosenbaum made a nice play at third base and Tina Lipson made a running catch out in left field.
The 1-0 pitch on the ground, third base side. Rosenbaum dives to his left, makes the play. He's up and throwing. Throw is high. Podrat's down on the bag.
Excellent play.
What a play all the way around the infield there. Rosenbaum dives to his left to make the play, throws to Podrat's, who leaps, makes the catch, and gets his foot back on the base for out number 1 here to start the third.
Pitch, high fly ball to deep left, going over his lips, and he has to chase it on the line.
Nice catch.
He will make the catch.
Lost his hat, was right up near the fence. Terrific running play. He had a really long way to go for that.
Trailing 8-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning, Matt Walsh and Ethan Gross both singled to plate some runs for the Gatemen.
Litchfield looks in, here's the pitch. Floated into shallow right field. Will it drop? It does. Around from third is Podrat's. The throw from Eldridge is up the line, and Podrat's scores the third run of the night for the Gatemen, who trimmed the lead to 8-3 on an RBI bloop single off the bat of Matt Walsh. Single in the third, he came around to score, and then he struck out looking in the 5th. The pitch from Litchfield, hard ground ball to the right side, that gets through. McMullen being waved home, Eldridge up throwing, but that too is up the line, and McMullen crosses.
I can tell you right now that the cheers from those third base bleachers, that's getting into the heads of these Wareham Gatemen hitters. They're hitting the ball very well now. 4 straight hits.
Sean Newcomb got the start Monday against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, his first start since June 12th against the Chatham Anglers. He pitched very well, going 7 strong innings, and then he gave the ball to Jonathan Holder for the 6-out save. Wareham won 3-0, but also check out these plays by Adam Toth in the field.
Start to see some stretching out in that Wareham bullpen.
Well, I was just going to say, this is where it starts to get interesting, because in his 3 relief appearances, Newcomb has never worked into a 4th inning.
Right, that's what I was thinking. 2-1 to left. Toth moving over to his right. Will dive and make the catch. What a catch out there by Adam Toth. Had to look and see whether he held on to that one. So I just need to look in. Here comes his 3-1. Here it is. Inside, he walks in a run. 1-0 Wareham. Shania to third. Podrat's to second. Rosenbaum is on base for the second time tonight. He's singled in the second.
And Jonathan Holder is 1 strike away from getting out of this mess he created. A leadoff double to Drew Stankiewicz. Then Jay Baum singled second and third. And since then, 2 strikeouts for Jonathan Holder. He has his sign. He's ready. Walsh sets up outside. The 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Holder puts the first 2 on and then strikes out the side in the 8th. Wareham holds on to the 3-0 lead as we will head on to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Gatemen are out in front on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Ready. Here's his 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He got him. That's your ball game, folks. Jonathan Holder with back-to-back strikeouts. And Wareham defeats Hyannis 3-0. A terrific start from Sean Newcomb. 7 shutout innings. Jonathan Holder pitches the 8th and 9th and racks up 5 strikeouts and stranded 4 runners on base total. A terrific outing all around by the 2 Gatemen pitchers.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Holder, and you're watching Wareham Gatemen Around the Horn.
All right, a little bit of change of scenery here. I'm here with head coach Cooper Ferris. So, Coach, looking at the season, you guys have about 2 weeks left. What are you looking to accomplish in the last 2 weeks?
Well, we've told our guys we're just trying to get better. Every day, we're trying to make improvements, and I think we're doing that on the hitting side. Our hitters have had 10 hits the last 4 games, which is what you want to try to do here in the Cape, double digits. And, we just need to start driving runs in. We've had, bases low. We hit some balls hard, and people have caught them, but that's basically what we're trying to do is get better every day. And, everything else will take care of itself. That's our job here is to make them better.
Yeah, last night you guys had a pretty big inning. Went back-to-back RBI singles. Had that change the the energy of the game last night?
Well, we got down early to start with, and what I really liked is our guys kept grinding. They kept kept attacking and they kept playing hard. And when you get down 7 runs, it can do. You can have some guys stop, but I think all our guys kept competing, and I was real proud of that.
Yeah, a general theme with the team this year is that they don't give up. Even at the bottom of the 9th, when it doesn't look like there's much hope, they're still firing away and they're still giving it all they got. So you guys also have 4 picked for the All-Star game next week. How does that help the team?
Well, that's awesome. I was worried going into the meetings, whether we would have, that many, and I'm real proud for Cole and Ethan. They were here last summer, and we had some guys with some better numbers, so they didn't make it. They played well last summer for us. And, of course, I was excited both those guys made it, and then we had a few guys that didn't make it, that I'd nominated, but, it's just a situation where, there's a lot of good players up here, and, with our team and the record that we have right now, and our stats aren't real good, but I know the caliber player those 2 guys are. And then we had Tino make it, who he's hitting above 300, our only guy doing that, and then we had Bradley Roney, who had 19 strikeouts in 13 innings, and that really impressed the other coaches, so with the 1.9 ERA, so that helped him. So basically it's a lot about numbers when you go up there to those things. But I knew that Ethan and Cole, even though the numbers weren't, what they're accustomed to, they still, I just think they're all-star caliber guys.
Yeah, you always see Cole and Ethan. They're always doing the extra work and putting the time in. So it's great to see them, get the opportunity to play with, the rest of the All-Stars and just representing the Gatemen, having 4 go in there. So one thing that we talked about, which it seemed to be a common theme throughout the season, is getting these players ready and getting them better for their collegiate season. So overall, who do you think has done really well? And, kind of update us on what's the positive that's come out so far.
I think all the guys are working. I know all the hitters are. I'm not down with the pitchers a whole lot. Coach Thompson has them, and I know our hitters are improving a lot, and as far as on the pitching side of it, I think they're learning, but the consistency factor, they'll have a good outing, bad outing, good outing, bad outing. The consistency factor hasn't been there, and I think the biggest thing is them quit worrying so much about mechanics and start competing in their stuff a little bit better. I'd rather miss with a competitive fastball than miss with a fastball they're just trying to place in a spot, and I think that's the biggest thing that's gotten us in trouble this year on the mound, is we've been kind of just hunting and pecking out there instead of going after guys.
Following the season thus far, you can definitely see a change. I definitely think that there are a lot of improvements that have come so far on the season, and I think that these last 2 weeks can be beneficial for these players before they head back to their college. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, and I really hope these guys get a good taste in their mouth before they leave here. I know they're working. I mean, I can't ask for a better group. Usually at this time when you've got a team, that doesn't have a good 1-loss record, most of these guys are already thinking about going home and that kind of thing. And I haven't heard a peep hardly, any of these guys. They love being at the ballpark. They love having fun, and they love competing, trying to get better every day. So that's about all a coach can ask for.
I'm Sean McMullen, and you're watching Wareham Gatemen Around the Horn.
With me here, I have Will Corsinkar. So after you finished up your season with Indiana, did you have any goals or techniques that you wanted to critique while you were going to be here on Cape Cod?
Yeah, I wanted to locate my fastball a lot more, and then get more sharping breaking ball, and be able to throw my changeup for strikes a lot better.
So looking at the season, you guys have about 2 weeks left. Where do you think you fall, and where you want to be going into the fall, back at Indiana?
I've struggled here a lot this year so far, but I think I'm learning. I think I'm learning from it every single time. This is the best players in the nation, so I think that's helping a lot, and I think it'll be good for me going into my sophomore year at Indiana.
A common theme is what great pitching, is here on Cape Cod. So I think to be the best, you have to play with the best. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. There's some unbelievable pitchers here that I've seen so far.
So to change the subject a little bit, is there a player in particular, a professional player that you like to compare yourself to, or that you look up to as a role model?
I don't know if I can compare myself to any of them because they're so good, but David Price, I think I like his mechanics, and that's who I would want to be like.
I'm joined here with Sean McMullen. So you did 2 years of junior college before entering at LSU. How do you think that benefited you before you got to such a big university?
Well, I think the most important part was just getting a bunch of at-bats. I'm not sure how many at-bats I would have gotten, early in my career, my freshman and sophomore year. But, I got about 200 at-bats a year in junior college, and I think that's really what did it.
Kind of like developed you into the player that you are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just getting at-bats and, just seeing the field. It just makes you a better player, and junior college, I got that.
Right, so you also have a family member that's very good, an MLB All-Star actually. Can you tell us about that and if you admired him at all growing up?
Yeah, well, I've always looked up to Will as an inspiration, and I just talking to him about baseball. He's just so full of knowledge and experience, and I learned a whole lot from him, and I know he's always there to help me when I might be feeling down on myself, but he's been really good to me, and really helped me throughout my career.
It's kind of what family's for. So if you were to pick a role model or someone that, for baseball or outside of baseball, who would that be?
I would say my parents probably, just because they go to every single game, and it's really easy to look past that, but they're always been there for my support, and whenever I'm feeling down on myself, my mom's the first one there to pick me up, and they've really helped me get through my whole career.
Hi, I'm here with Jonathan Holder. Jonathan, you were part of the 2012 championship team last year. How is it to be back with the Gatemen?
It's good to be back here. Had a long season at school, and I was excited to get back, especially after winning it all last year.
And you had a great year at Mississippi State as well. Can you tell us how the journey to Omaha was?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long, rough ride, but it turned out to be pretty good. And then we got there, and we did some special things for Mississippi State's program, so it was pretty cool.
It's exciting to watch you guys play. It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a blast. We kind of just had fun and took it a long way.
Awesome. So you are actually have a little bit of history with Coach Cooper Ferris. You were coached by him in high school, right? Can you tell us how it is, having such a long relationship with him?
It's different. In high school, he was an assistant coach, so we worked together individually and stuff. And here, him being a head coach, it was definitely different last year, coming in and seeing how he reacted. But I love being coached by him.
Seems like you guys have a great relationship. What is it, 7 years that you've known Coach?
Yeah, I mean, I've known him a while. We've worked together a while, so he's a great guy, great coach.
Hi, I'm Will Corson Carr, and you're watching Wareham Gatemen Around the Horn.
How important is it for you guys to give back to the Wareham community while you're here playing for the Gatemen?
I believe it's really important. They're supporting us through this whole season, and we just got to give back. And give thanks for everything they've done for us.
I think it's so important. The community, does so much for us by supporting us and coming to our games. And I think it's only right to give back.
I think it's the least we can do to come out here for the community because they come to our games. They support us. And even though our record isn't a very good one right now, we still have fans out there every night.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. They show up every night, regardless of how we're doing and all that stuff. So it's just good to get back to them.
Well, you see, we have the best fans on the Cape Cod, so the least we can do is give back. And they're always out there supporting us, so we need to be there for them as well.
I think it's very important. We live with host families, and they do a lot for us, and they all come out and support the game, so it's nice to get something back by signing autographs for the kids.
I feel like it's really important because there's a lot of people throughout the community that really give a lot to us. We go to a lot of community churches and stuff that give us meals after games, so it's really important, I feel like, for us to get out here and do something special for them because they're always giving to us.
Pretty much the same thing Bradley just said. They're out here supporting us and coming to our games, and I think it's good to give back.
Yeah, right. They come to all our games, and so this is good for us to do something for them for a change.
It's really important. I mean, they come out and watch us almost every night. We really wouldn't have a team without the fans, so as much community engagement as we can get is really great. I mean, filling the stadium and playing in front of a crowd is much better than playing in front of 10 people. So the happier you make the fans, the better the Gatemen will do.
Yeah, it's really important. You know, we know as like growing up, we always wanted autographs of teams and everything. So it's important to give back, kind of like how when we were kids.
Yeah, I know how I felt when I was a little kid. You know, I always wanted every autograph, and when I did get that autograph, it felt great. So, you know, giving back to the little kids here, it feels good as a player too, and all around, it's a good experience.
Do you have any experience doing this back at school, or is this your first time giving back to the community like this?
Usually we have one day before the season. It's called our Black and Gold game that all the little kids and fans, whoever wants to come, can get autographs. So we have a little bit of experience with it.
We usually just have like an autograph night after one of the games during the season.
Kind of same thing as Ethan. I mean, we'll after every game or so, every Sunday game, we'll have an autograph session for all the little kids.
We do that, and then we also, before a basketball game, set up around our basketball arena and sign for a couple hours. So we do quite a bit of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, actually we meet with the WEB Du Bois Academy, which is kind of like an inner city underprivileged like child program. They come and we hang out with them and we play a little bit of baseball with them. We run around the gym with them and take them to a basketball game. So, yeah.
Yeah, we had different autograph signings throughout the year, and it's just good to meet some of the fans, come out to the games and support the team.
We have Little League days, usually on Fridays at my school, where all the Little Leaguers come from around the area and get to run with us out to our positions and run the bases after the game and stuff. So if they want autographs, we sign, and it's the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, we have autograph signings at like basketball games. It's kind of a regular thing we do twice a year. And it's just like this, the whole team lines up and they just come through and you just get to meet the fans and interact with them.
Every Friday home game at Hawaii, we have like the fans come out onto the field after the game, so we get to do, like Rush was saying, interact with the fans, and they give us like pictures and stuff that they've taken, just sign autographs for all the little kids. We see the same ones every Friday, but still it's cool.
We do a lot of this at school. Our coach really believes in giving back to the community. He thinks that it not only helps other people, but it helps us as well, and he really made us realize how important it is.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We have days like this, like autograph days, and also we'll go out and like do some community service type things just around campus.
Yeah, we do the same thing at school. Coming from like a smaller Division I school, we try to build our rep a little bit by helping out with the community and building our name. So we get out and do a lot of stuff like this.
Us as well. We do a lot of things with the community. We go to little schools around the town to serve lunch to kids and read to them and just different community work. So it's definitely important.